Sergeant Brubaker's here.
Good. John, grab a seat. I'll be with you in a sec.
I am going home now, okay?
That's nice.
Are we all set on tomorrow? I said, are we all set on tomorrow?
Fine. I'll see you tomorrow.
Excuse us. In the first place, you are being very rude because Sergeant Brubaker here is here at your request. And in the second place, I don't want you to be confused about tomorrow morning. I will not be here until 11 o'clock. And I wouldn't rely on whoever Temporary Services sends over, as the last one thought you were an agent for the KGB. Therefore, I have set up your appointments as follows. At 9 o'clock is Alice Hoving. At 10 o'clock is Bob Hoving. At 11 o'clock is Cindy Miller. She's the other woman. Everything you will need on them is in this file. Your coffee will go off at 8:03, and Jimmy will deliver your donuts at 8:07. And in the unlikely event that I am not back by noon, your lunch will arrive at 12 o'clock sharp. Now, if anything goes wrong, it's your fault. Good night, Harold. John?
Oh, wait. What am I having for lunch?
Tongue.
Tongue? I think she's kidding.
So what did you want to see me about, Harold?
Oh, well, for starters, tell me about your sister.
Tina? I didn't know you knew her.
Well, we met only recently.
What, is she in some kind of trouble?
That's what I hope you can tell me.
What was that name again?
Gilbert, Barbara Gilbert.
Gilbert? Gilbert.
About 5'2", 120 pounds, blonde hair.
Oh, Barbara Gilbert, yes, of course, I remember.
Good. Because I think you have a little explaining to do.
I don't understand.
Well, actually, I didn't expect you to, but let's just say that this visit is more for me than for you. There's been a lot happening in my life lately, and it's caused me to reflect on certain areas. Well, let's just say I haven't much liked what I found. And that's why I've come here, to apologize to you.
Because you didn't believe that I didn't come on to Courtney in the dorm room.
And because I hit you. I'm sorry.
Apology accepted. Now just don't go punch Courtney out.
Yeah.
A little humor there. Why don't we have a seat?
Thank you.
When did you see her last?
A few days ago.
How'd it go?
Well, it went all right. The important thing is I'm not giving up.
Good.
Actually, Dave Phillips has been quite an inspiration through all of this.
Oh, so that's where all this is coming from.
Well, in part. I mean, he did advise me to be stubborn with my love for her.
Mm-hmm. Then he threw in some things about forgiveness, too, I'm sure.
Something like that. I've finally come to realize that you've got to back up your feelings with actions.
Yeah. Well, that's his style, all right.
Yeah.
It suits you well, too, I think. To tell you the truth, I don't know if I could have done what you did.
Well, honestly, you already did do it. By coming to see Courtney when her mother had died. Now, that took some guts. After what she had said about you.
She was hurting.
She still is. That's why it's more important now than ever to hold on. Because once this pain and anger and hurt plays itself out, she's gonna need someone to be there and to hold her. Tell her everything's all right.
What about my sister? Why does she need a lawyer?
But let's just back up a second. Tina hasn't broken the law. It's just that she's got to be a witness in a case I'm preparing. The witness, as a matter of fact.
And for some reason, you seem to be real unhappy about it.
Well, let's just say I have my reservations about it.
What is the case, Harold?
John, you know I can't really tell you that.
Well, you know I can walk down to the courthouse and ask a couple of questions and find out anyway, so why don't you tell me?
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't really pretend I can keep this a secret, not with the questions I'm going to have to ask you.
Well, that's a smart decision. Now, what's going on?
Tina is going to testify for Von Sumner at his annulment hearing.
Well, that one got me by surprise.
Yeah, well, if that surprised you, just hang on.
I thought she was friends with the wife.
She is, or she was. Kind of complicated.
And these complications are what's making you so unhappy. Why don't you just give it to me straight, Harold? I've seen Tina through more problems than I care to think about. And I find it's always best to get the facts up front.
Unfortunately, I don't have all the facts. At least I suspect that I don't. Tina's a game player. I've looked into it. She's got a history of provoking trouble. Innocent trouble, for the most part, but she provokes it all the same.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
I guess the real question becomes, how far is she willing to push her game playing?
What are you setting me up for, Harold? What is this?
John, do you know Tina well enough to know whether or not she would get involved with a married man, or one that's about to be married?
Von Sumner.
Yeah. And I have overstepped my bounds incredibly by telling you this.
Well, I'll respect the confidence.
Yeah, I guess. Look, I want to believe that somebody's lying here. See, Sumner's defense isn't holding together the way it should. Look, what I'm hoping that you can tell me is that this kind of behavior isn't consistent with Tina's character. It's certainly not going to be good for my case, but it's better that it blows up now than later in the courtroom.
If you don't mind, how does Tina's association with Sumner help him?
Courtney Sumner is seeking an annulment. She claims that her husband is impotent.
And my sister is leading the cheering section that says it ain't so.
Yeah.
Happily or reluctantly?
They both expressed a great deal of regret for what happened.
That fits the pattern.
John, is this your way of saying that Tina could be telling me the truth?
Look, I'm not going to venture an opinion on that. You asked me if it fit with her past. Her mother always said that she was the one that gave her the gray hairs. To my great embarrassment, Harold, I'm afraid I'm going to have to say yes. She could very well be telling the truth.
Well, if you must know, Dr. Martin, I took Mrs. Gilbert into Domi because I hoped that she'd realize that it wasn't for her. I hoped that confronted by her weaknesses, she would leave, seek strength elsewhere, and return to fulfill her potential.
Then why didn't you talk to her? You're a psychologist. Why didn't you help her with her problem?
Any discoveries that are worthwhile are discoveries that are made by ourselves. Any help that's effective is help that we ask for. And as for my unwillingness to help, nothing could be further from the truth. I asked her to seek help.
Just not from you, though.
Precisely. Domi is all about strength. And in doing something like that, in helping her to confront her weaknesses, Domi wouldn't have been effective. I'm very experienced in this area. The same authority figure cannot guide a person through a confrontation of weaknesses and a confrontation of strengths. The associations become muddied. Success and failure just become too blurred. We have been through a lot of changes in our lives, all of us. And a long time ago, I decided that I was called upon to help people to achieve. Others are called upon to help others who are weak, to help overcome, and then they can achieve.
When did you stop seeing her?
3 years ago.
I see.
Why am I picking up so much guilt from you?
Maybe because I don't feel that my decisions were as clearly defined as yours.
Perhaps. I think it goes beyond that, though. I think you believe that you really had something to do with what happened to Barbara Gilbert, don't you?
Yes, I should have been more sensitive to how troubled she was.
And what would you have done if you had?
I would have insisted that she see a psychiatrist immediately.
And would you still have given her the prescription for Sivanol?
That's beside the point. I should have
Answer
realized...
the question, would you still have given her the prescription for Sivanol?
It's a mild drug and almost over-the-counter.
In other words, yes.
Probably.
I feel very sorry for you, Ben. Now, I don't mean that in a sarcastic way. I think you've been the victim of a lot of unspoken condemnation. And I think it's time to break through all that. And I want to help.
Hi. What took you so long?
I'm sorry, but something came up and I had to take care of it.
Yeah, what?
Well, nothing. It's taken care of.
Oh. You know, things with Courtney went better than we could have possibly hoped.
She wasn't angry?
Furious. That's why it was so much fun. After I told her that I couldn't testify, I launched into the Courtney as Ice Princess routine. She practically threw me out of the apartment.
Oh, Tina.
No, listen, you gotta hear this. I laid it on real thick about how Courtney always seemed to be afraid of men, about how I couldn't help but tell that to a judge, and about how it made her look real bad in lieu of your story. Everything. I wouldn't be surprised if she called this whole thing off after all.
Well,
So why aren't you as happy about this as I am?
because of the way Courtney must feel right now. And because of all the lies we've had to tell, I'm bound to get caught in one of them. And I just had a visitor who made me realize that my actions are not an accurate reflection of how I feel.
Caught by who?
Dave Phillips, the man who gave me the idea in the first place. Seems Dan Myers paid him a visit, told him about the defense we were planning. And now he's afraid that he's going to be called to testify against us.
With what? The test he gave you showed that your problem is psychological, not physiological. That means that with the right woman at the right time, you could perform.
Well, look, that's exactly what I told him, that the problems were psychological, and that our affair took place after I had consulted him, but before the wedding.
So what are you looking so down about?
I don't know, it's just the way this whole thing is snowballing, and innocent people are bound to get caught up in it.
Innocent people? What about Courtney? She innocent? She tried to throw you out on your ear when all you wanted to do was show your love and concern. Vaughn, we're almost here. If you give up now, don't expect me to talk you back into it. Make a decision and stick to it. I've got more important things to do with my life.
So you don't believe it, huh?
Well, that sounds a little unfair. Let's just say that in light of certain other facts, which
But you're
I'm
not
not
gonna
going to
tell
tell
me.
you,
Figure.
I'd say that Vaughn Sumner has a few other areas of his life he needs to work on as well. Dave isn't too thrilled with him right now.
The plot thickens.
Oh, indeed it does. There's still time, though. If he's made the changes you say he has, and if he's as impressed with Dave as you say he is, maybe Dave can get through to him.
Does this have something to do with that hearing?
Here, put this away.
You're done talking about it.
You know me well, oh wise one.
True. However, I'm beginning to wonder about that now, too.
And what's that supposed to mean?
This is the first night in probably 3 weeks that you've been home.
Oh, 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
No way.
3 weeks. I'm not complaining. I think that you and Dr. Phillips should have some time, some privacy.
Thank you very much.
But I might have to go upstairs and get my camera and take a picture of you. Because I think it might be the last time I see you until you're walking down the aisle in October.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Why do I like the sound of that?
Dave and I have been talking about moving the date up a little. What do you think about that?
Well, I guess the poet said it best. Seldom is the man who can endure the chase, so it's up to the woman to shorten the race.
Does that mean you don't mind?
Look, Harold, I'm sorry. I know you've got better things to do than sit around and listen to me ramble about my family and the messes my sister's gotten herself into.
It's okay, John. I understand. I just wish I was sitting here having you give me a hard time for even suggesting Tina be involved in something like this.
Yeah, so do I. So why all the doubt?
Okay, here's a guy who has been diagnosed as impotent, who waits until the very last minute to answer his wife's suit, who comes up with a defense that can't be proven or disproven, who has said that he would do anything to keep her.
Yeah, it does sort of border on the miraculous, doesn't it? Except for one thing. My sister's record. You did your research. She's been in and out of court so many times. They've all been juvenile misdemeanors, but it's a pattern of mischief. The last time she was in there, I think she learned a lesson for good. She put the fear of God into her. She learned you don't play with judges. No, I just don't think she's gonna bluff her way out of this one.
Maybe.
No, Harold, I'm telling you. She made me a solemn vow the last time she was arrested, complete with tears and everything. And besides, I think she knows what it might be doing to my career.
What if she thought that the thing would never even come into court?
Meaning?
Meaning, suppose that Sumner made the whole thing up, hoping that Courtney would just drop the case.
Then you're dealing with a whole different set of circumstances.
Which brings us back to Tina, the game player.
Why does she get herself involved in these things?
It's just a suspicion. I don't have any proof.
Yeah, but look at her record. The suspicion is bad enough. Look, I know what you want me to do. You want me to go back there and sound her out, ask her a couple of questions. I just think I'm just a little too upset to do that, and I don't think she's going to want to answer me anyway.
Well, that's certainly not what I wanted. I was hoping that you'd come in here and confirm my suspicions that this whole thing was a setup. Well, you obviously think it is. I don't know, though. I'm back to square one. After what you've told me, I have to admit, the affair is a distinct possibility.
Why are you condemning yourself? Deep inside yourself, you know that you haven't done anything wrong. Would you just once, here in this office, admit that to me?
I didn't do anything wrong.
Say it again.
I had nothing to do with Barbara Gilbert's death.
That felt good, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
And it should have. Now I'm going to say something that's going to shock you.
Everything you say shocks me.
I don't know if I should be flattered or offended by that.
Well, that makes us even, so okay, go ahead, shock me.
You were so upset by Barbara Gilbert's death because you saw so much of yourself in her.
No, that isn't true.
Wait, your denial came just a little too quickly, didn't it, Ben?
Well, I suppose you're not going to allow me the chance to disagree with you.
You've been through some incredible changes in the past few months. And I don't think that I'd be too far off the line if I said that you had expected those changes to make you happy.
I wouldn't deny that.
But you're not happy, are you?
I'm not going to make a blanket statement if that's what you're after.
Then what are you willing to say?
That high expectations of anything can be dangerous.
And I say to you, if you truly believe that, then you are robbing yourself of a lot of happiness.
Maybe there's no such thing.
Wrong.
Let me qualify that.
No, you can't qualify it because it's a false statement. Happiness is real and obtainable.
I agree, but sustaining it, that's what I'm talking about.
No. People can stay happy, just as long as they want to. More specifically, they can stay happy as long as they don't let others interfere with their happiness. You identified so strongly with Barbara Gilbert because she was a woman who had everything, and yet she didn't know how to use it to make her happy.
No, your comparison will not work here. Barbara Gilbert had a lot more money than I'll ever have.
You know, your joking only tells me that I'm hitting my mark. For so long, you have had so little, and now all of a sudden you have an abundance of everything. I would think that in the leaner times, you probably played that little game that everybody plays. You pretended that you didn't really want to be rich because everybody knows that the rich aren't really happy.
I'd argue that a certain amount of that kind of thinking is healthy.
And I would agree, but only a certain amount. That sort of kidding can lead to bitterness, and bitterness can lead to self-pity.
Are you saying it has with me?
No, although I don't really know you well enough, Ben. But I do know what Brian has told me about you. And I also know what I know about you concerning Mrs. Gilbert's death. You were very angry when you were stuck away in that Chesterfield clinic. And suddenly you were out. But not with everyone's blessing. Oh, I know that Dr. Phillips and your wife gave you their approval, but they weren't really behind your decision. Were they?
No. Go on.
In effect, they denied you a proper expression of relief. They only added to the tension of your life. And you deserve a lot more than that, Ben. 'Cause 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 'cause
going to give up?
No, I've already told another lie to cover for all the lies we've been telling. And I purposely told Dr. Phillips that I left out any mention of your name because we were afraid it was going to get back to Courtney.
Good move.
Yeah.
Did he believe you?
Who knows? But I'll tell Harold Webster the same thing, and hopefully he'll be able to make an arguable defense out of it.
Hang in there.
Yeah.
You're doing the right thing. You keep talking about hurting innocent people. Do you realize how much I'd be hurt if I didn't see you winning this thing? I care for you, you know. Even if winning means losing you.
I appreciate it. I know what you're doing. Thank you. I think I better go.
No, look,
No, actually,
wait.
I'll just give you a call tomorrow sometime. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll see ya. Hello? Yeah, doctor, this is Tina Brubaker. What are the results? Positive. Oh, that's just fine. No. No, I'm sorry. No, I'll take care of it myself.
Friday on Another Life. Gene asks McGovern for more time.
Keep at it. But just remember one thing. If this Fazan woman has killed 4 people for money, she's not going to have a moment's pause to deal with some nosy reporter.
And is Dan becoming more than just Courtney's attorney?
I don't know what to tell you, Courtney.
Tell me that there's a way we can show that the problem isn't mine.